Limerick Today with Joe Nash on Limerick's Live 95 FM.
Now, I'm delighted to welcome to the studio and to say happy Christmas to the 2013 Claire Rose Marie Donlan. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Joe.
How are you?
Doing? Great to be here.
And you've been very generous in that you have brought me food, which is always a good way of impressing me. Brownies in particular, they smell absolutely gorgeous.
I had a very hard job getting those out of the house now.
They're absolutely lovely. And there's so many of them that you'll have to bring them out to the lads outside in the office when you're going.
Yes, indeed.
But it connects to a book that is being really well received. Back to Basics, traditional baking book.
Absolutely, yeah. So this idea only came about 7 weeks ago. It was a huge turnaround. So it's a simple traditional cookbook. So about 50 recipes, simple things that we would have grown up with, like scones and tarts and breads that Nana would have made. But also I think there's more of a modern twist to it as well. There's lots of cakes and cheesecake and things like that. But it's going really, really well. So it started, like I said, just as a fluke, really. I just had this idea and then turned it around over about 7 weeks, and now we've nearly 700 copies sold within 2 weeks, which is fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's going really well.
Have you always been into your cooking?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I grew up, we had a B&B growing up, so we used to have to bake every morning, like slave children is what I'd call it. No, I'm only joking about, but we used to make scones and tarts and that every day.
Yeah.
So then, and Nana would have been a great baker, so we would have grown up with it. But I do think I probably bake very differently than they did. But yeah, no, it has always been a big part of my life. I never thought I would make a cookbook. It just came about really. I just wanted to do something for the charity.
And does it specialise in the baking side?
Absolutely, yeah. So there is a small savoury section at the back, but it is predominantly baking. Yeah, so it is. There's cakes, treats, buns, breads. It's predominantly baking. Yeah.
Right. Now, for a cooking, baking Egypt like myself, could it help me?
Yeah, absolutely. So I shouldn't be saying this, but I was using my brother as a yardstick, Michael. So anytime Mum would suggest something, I'd say, no, if Michael can't make it, it's not going in. So I used to, everything is quite simple, like nothing really has more than about 10 ingredients. A lot of them only have 4 or 5. It's really, really simple things. And at the back there is actually a full utensil guide and an ingredient guide. So it's not only basic recipes, but I think it's really basic ingredients as well. Yeah.
What do you mean by...
So yes, Joe, is the answer. Without insulting you.
You don't sound so shocked. You've summed me up pretty quickly. But when you say a utensil guide, what exactly are we talking about then?
Well, it's basically a colour photo of...
It is.
I mean, I'm spelling it out for you here, Joe. It's basically a colour photo that is referenced to the actual ingredient page.
I'm sorry, but that is just fantastic.
I couldn't make it any easier for you. Yeah.
I mean, for example, you have pastry brush, and there's a colour photo of a pastry brush.
Yeah, but you see, Joe, that might sound very simple, but if I said to one of my brothers, go into John's there and get me a pastry brush, they would say, what is a pastry brush? So I
now, mind you, if you said to one of your brothers, go into Dunn's and get me a rolling pin, I'm sure they would know what that is, and you have a colour photo.
You can never be too sure, Joe. I couldn't take any chances. You
know? But the inspiration for this is something that we're all concerned about, and that is funding for Rape Crisis Midwest.
Yes, so last year I was the Claire Rose last year, as you said, and in April I was asked to an event to speak on behalf of the centre. So to do that, they sent me on a lot of information about the charity, and I had to put together a speech to give at this event. So I suppose first of all I learned an awful lot about what they actually do, because I wouldn't have known a huge amount about them. And also that day I just found it very emotional. The speakers and that on the day was quite emotional. So a few weeks afterwards then I found out that they had to close temporarily in Limerick and in Ennis due to lack of funding. So I said, oh God, as soon as I get a chance, as soon as this sash is stolen off me, I'm going to do something good for them. So I did. I didn't know at the time that it would be a cookbook. I was trying to brainstorm, and then I would fundraise a lot, like a huge amount in Clare, and I kind of thought about a table quiz and things like that, and I said, well, something like that, it's great, but it's once-off funding, whereas the book can be sold over time, and they can sell it as they need it in periods that they need it. But the reaction, I just can't get over the reaction of it. So well, when I approached the charity, they were overwhelmed with the idea. And it was funny actually, because when I went to them with the idea of doing this, I kind of meant down the line, And then I said it to them and they said, oh my God, this is fantastic. Could we get it out in time for Christmas? And I kind of said, what?
You said, which Christmas?
And then I said, okay, sure, look, why not? Let's get it out in time for Christmas. And we did. But it was a very quick turnaround. It was, I think my poor family were fit to kill me. There was about 200 or 300 hours of baking, shopping, cleaning, everything. But yeah, we got there.
Okay, well, I know you have great tips in the book, so we'll take a break and come back with some of those.
Brilliant.
We're having a great chat this morning with the 2013 Claire Rose Marie Donlan. She's bringing out a special cookbook in aid of Rape Crisis Midwest for Christmas. So, I know there are all year round recipes here, but considering we are in the last full week before Christmas, what would you recommend from the book?
Yeah, so in fairness, it is all year round, but like you said, Christmas is a great time and people are very generous this time of year. So funnily enough, one of the biggest hits in the book is there's little strawberry Santas, which you just noticed a few minutes ago, and they could not be simpler. They're basically strawberries with icing and with little chocolate eyes and chocolate noses there. I find people who pick up the books at Christmas markets and stuff, it's with kids that they love them because it's literally only 3 or 4 ingredients and they're so effective, as you can see with the little hats and that on them.
Yeah, and they look so much like Santa Claus.
I even brought these into work the other day and I thought they'd be insulted because they were so simple and they love them. Yeah, it is. It's sometimes funny. I find generally though it's the simpler things always.
Yeah.
Always in life. It's the easy things and things people can recognise. Yeah, that they prefer, definitely.
Suggest something else to me.
Yeah, I was trying to teach you because I was laughing when he said we're going to have some tips. I said, oh God, I have no tips, but I was laughing because the page just opened on basic queen cakes. And Mum will laugh at this, but at the top I actually have a little poem because when we're making them, Mum, when we were small, used to always have this poem: 4, 4, 6, 2, beat them till they're blue. 8, 8, 12, 4, beat them more and more. And the 4, 4, 6, 2 is the ingredients. So it's 4 ounces of margarine, 4 ounces of castor sugar, 6 ounces of self-raising flour. It's basically the ingredients. So it's funny. It's little things like that I remember growing up.
You are aware the first line of that sounds a bit more aggressive than I think.
Yeah, I know that, yeah. It's beat them with an electric beater,
Yes.
just to clarify that. Yeah.
And your nan, is one of her recipes in there?
Yeah. So Nana was actually my favourite one of Nana. Nana used to always make brown bread. That was the thing I associated with her every day. But my favourite recipe of hers is actually the griddle bread. So she used to make it on the range, which, don't worry, that isn't in the method because very few people would have a range now. But it's only 3 ingredients. It's literally flour, bread soda and buttermilk, and it is gorgeous. It's like I would make it in the oven. It's my uncle is fantastic at making it, but the only thing, it's perfect for, we'll say, after a night out. Just out of the oven. I don't know who's able to go baking after a night out, but
Sorry, is this a hangover cure?
It's just perfect. It's when it's lovely and warm with the sausages and rashers and stuff. Yeah.
Are fellas buying this?
Actually, funnily enough, yeah, I said that to you. So I wasn't really 100% sure who I thought the target market was going to be. It has definitely been different to who I originally thought. So at a lot of Christmas markets over the last few weekends, men have come up to buy the book and I have been so impressed and I've thought, wow, this is fantastic. And then they'll say, God, this is really lovely now. This would be a lovely present for my wife. And I get such a bit of laughing because I'm saying that is such an insult. I don't know why. But yeah, it's amazing the amount of men. Yeah, but I don't mind. Listen, it's all good from my perspective once they're buying it. But
it
huge amount of men buying the book.
Yeah, and it could help, a guy or a woman who doesn't know much about these things on the road, couldn't it? Because, as you say, you have kept it as simple and straightforward as you possibly can.
Yeah, well, I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert chef either. But it is, like I said, I'm kind of from a family of bakers and stuff. But it definitely could. It couldn't. I think, like we said, with the guide and everything at the back, it couldn't be simpler. And there is nothing very complicated in there. Like I didn't put in the likes of creme brulees and things where you would need a torch or, it is all quite simple things. So, if something goes wrong, you can blame me personally.
Contact Marie.
Exactly.
And great production values in the book for a great cause, Rape Crisis Midwest. Where is it on sale in Limerick?
So it's on sale, first of all, online on rapecrisis.ie and from the Rape Crisis Centre in Limerick. But also it's on sale in Centra in O'Connell Street, near the Texas Takeout, that big Centra. And huge thanks to James Ryan, who's offered to stock it on our behalf. But yeah, we just can't believe how well it's taken off. And I think people, like you said, appreciate appreciate the cut. So the book is €10. It's a 150-page book, and €7 of that goes directly to the charity. So
Fantastic.
I think I broke the publisher's heart a little bit in Cork with going over and back. But
Now, you were the Clare Rose the year they won the All-Ireland, weren't you?
yes, yeah, absolutely.
Must have been mad, was it?
I love to say that again.
No, I'm only saying that once.
Just
and
to,
it's only because
just
you're
to
nice.
annoy the Limerick colleagues even more. But yeah, I was so lucky. I really was. I mean, to be the Rose the year that Clare won the All-Ireland was phenomenal. To stand in Croke Park, that day was fantastic. But not only that, but it opened a lot of doors for me. There was things happening every weekend in the county as a result. But also, while I think I was very lucky, I think that you only have 1 year to make the most of it. And I think I really did. I travelled all around the world with it, and all around the country and every part of the county, every back road. But it was brilliant. I think it has stood to me since, and will hopefully stand to me for a long time.
All right, great to meet you. Well done for a very good cause. Back to Basics, traditional baking book by Marie Donlan, who was the 2013 Clare Rose, available now. And we hope you have a very happy Christmas.
You too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. News next at 11.
Limerick Today with Joe Nash on Limerick's Live 95 FM.